Beach, and today is another one of those days. I really don't understand what happened to my camera in the last video upload, or I don't know. Anyway, hopefully I am taking care of the problem with getting live. I can access post, I can access upload videos, but something, I don't know what happened, but hopefully I figured the glitch out. If not, I didn't cry, I didn't give up, and we finally made it to our live. Waiting for the wind. It is an absolutely beautiful 4th of July, Independence Day here in northeastern North Carolina. It is perfect. Hey, Special Ability, how are you? I am getting ready to do a series of my vlog about raising my kids and the way that our isms, whether the autism, special needs, our ADHD, OCD, LD, how it all overlapped it and led to that we're just discovering. We're just discovering it now. So I am going to do a parenting series, like just kind of my journey through parenting and the ups and downs and where we are now and what I'm discovering about myself in this journey. That I missed some of the diagnosis because I was out of school. I got diagnosed with my learning disability, my dyslexia and stuff in 1974, 76, right around that area, and always had accommodations for that. However, the ADD, the ADHD, that I believe really came on the radar of people after I had finished school. We were still just saying, oh, little boys act that way, little girls act that way. Oh, she's just hyper, she'll grow out of it. Oh, this and that. So I definitely was not in that generation of knowledge. I do remember being diagnosed with it. You know how you take the little quizzes later or doing the little checklist for my children going, oh, well, I have 90% of those. Maybe I have this as well. So I can definitely see stuff now. And anyway, that's going to be up. Just seeing you come up. But thank you for stopping over. Yes, like I was saying today, the humidity is low. The heat is low. It is a perfect holiday day. I intend to do such videos, planning and visiting parents to share their journeys. Yeah, and I think what I have really am liking where I am with my children and with myself right now is they are old enough to tell me what they were doing and have had enough counseling that they have the vocabulary, and so we're able to kind of unravel all of this together. Just like finding out, I never thought that I had any level of anxiety, but that the yelling and screaming that I did while they were young was truthfully my anxiety over situations. So different ways to look at different things and how things kind of came up. So we don't need to do that. We're trying to keep Marley from barking because he is anxious. Hello, Miss Panda. Oh, hold on. We are not barking. We're not barking. Right. All right, come on. Yeah, we gotta clear Marley's anxiety of people walking by. Hey, Miss Panda. Wednesday lives. We're gonna start a little workout for my mom. Let's see. I intend to do such. It is on StreamYard. No, I am just streaming from. I'm not streaming from StreamYard because I'm on my phone and outside. So I was just streaming from the, I don't know, the live studio. Nothing shows up. I just see me talking and the other, but maybe I should try to stream from StreamYard. I don't know. It's also confusing. I just pushed the live button and went live. Come on. Come on up. Good boy. You're a good boy. He really has a bad habit of barking at everybody, so we're trying to break him. Come on. Anyway, so that's what we're gonna do. I'm going to try to stream. I am going to try to do a StreamYard tomorrow, because my sister wants to come in and we want to do a live, our first graduating from single lives to double lives and guests tomorrow. So that should be fun. We're just trying to kind of learn the platform still after a year. But Wednesdays, I'm going to do workout Wednesdays for our live. I know, and I'm going to do just, my mom needs just to move. She has, she broke her back years ago at this point. It's been a long time ago. And it never healed right. But now she's 81 and she has the othea blah blah blah, where her discs are dissolving in her back, and she has arthritis in her tailbone, and just the pain has gotten to be a lot. So I told her, she said, I just need somebody to work out with. So I promised her on Wednesdays we would do a Wednesday workout. It'll definitely be geared to the over 80, but you can always work out with us and bump it up to your level, and we'll just all move for an hour. And so it's definitely going to be geared towards my mom. Just that's we'll have workout Wednesdays going on. Please don't forget to hit the like as we come in. So that's it. Miss Panda, are you doing anything? I know Special Abilities is over in Africa, so they're not celebrating 4th of July and Independence Day for that. But I know Miss Panda's in the States. We are so far from family. I know that wind is catching up. That we're just not doing anything. I think my son, he's going to go out and do something, maybe hike or something, because it really is nice, and try to hook up with his friends later. And my daughter's gone, and Patrick and I are just, I'm not, other than Christmas that I got into because of the ornaments and the decorations, the rest of the holidays, we always, like growing up, we only spent the July 4th at a pool. We had always had a membership to a pool, and we always went there. And of course, then at the pool you're doing games and playing things and having special holiday things. So that's where we literally, growing up, that's all we ever did. We didn't have big cookouts. Now, let me take that back. I do remember back in 1976, the big 4th of July party for 1976, 100-year anniversary. That not 100-year. Anyway, the 200 anniversary, whatever it was. Yeah, so in 1976 they had all of the special quarters, and they had the it was called the Freedom Bus that would go around, and they had all of the stuff. I think they had gotten it out of the museums in Philadelphia, and they'd put different gotten different things together to tour, and it toured all over the country in 1976. And everybody school, would come in town, and we all had our time, and we went and walked through this traveling tour bus to see the historical documents and stuff. And yeah, that was part of the celebrations. But I remember that was the one year that my parents had a a party. It was a neighborhood party, and somehow, I don't know how, um, my father had been paid for some work he did by a van, and it was this white big van. And it's like the construction vans now. Had the double side doors that open, and it had the back door, but it was just empty inside. And okay, so in 1776, I was born in 68, 60, so I was 7, 8 years old about that time, and 9, I don't know, 7, 68, 69, 70, 71, 75, 76, yeah, so I was 9 years old, that getting ready, yeah, anyway, um, so we took this van and we painted it red, white, and blue, made it look like a flag, and then the neighbors 2 doors down, they had this big keg party for the whole neighborhood, and I just remember for days we stood out and painted flags, and we I mean, who knows? I wish I could find pictures of it now. It has to be somewhere in our photo albums of life. This van we painted for this keg party my parents were having, and then they were having the party. It was going to be late at night, and they had so it was our house and then 2 other houses. The house next door was having certain things, and then the next house over, which was my mom's best friend, they were having stuff over there too. So it kind of just spanned this area, these three yards, and I think they invited everybody, all their church. I mean, it was. But I just remember that. So we painted the vans and we had everything set, but of course, being a child, okay, you can be out for a little while, but at a certain time you have to go to bed. So they went ahead and made us eat. Now, I'm 10, and I lived in big, people used to have big families. So I don't even know how many, 3, 4, 5, there was 6. I'm one of 10. There were 6 children in the other house that was having this joint party with my parents, just down next door, and a couple of older kids, 2 older kids in the house between us. And my goodness. So I remember we were all sitting at the table. We ate really fast, and then this was at the house without the van. So after we ate, and I want to say it was 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, we're eating our little hot dogs and hamburgers and get our stuff. And then we ran back down to our house, got in there, and all of us got a beer out of the keg, and we took our cups and ran into the woods. Yeah. Thinking our parents wouldn't see us grabbing beer out of the beer kegs, because they were busy. I think we have a lookout. Somebody, that was one thing about it. I'm so glad I grew up in a time and an age where children had freedoms. I mean, was it the best thing to be stealing beer out of a keg of your parents? No, but did it happen? Oh, of course it did. I'm sure it still does today. But that kind of, all right, we're going into the woods to be rowdy kids, And of course, what we got was probably, it was like the red cup. But by the time we got the beer, the rest was probably foam, and then we're running with it. Probably what we actually consumed was probably 2 ounces of, beer. It wasn't like we knew how to pour and serve ourselves, but that is a memory that I have that I don't know, just painting that van. And then the van didn't run. So we had pushed it into place, and it sat in our driveway for the rest of the year, 2 or 3 years. Then finally we pushed it over on our grandparents' property behind a shed, and it sat there, but we all played in it. That was like our fort. we all decorated. At one point, everybody was going to move into the van, like, I'm going to go have my space, and you would go in and clean it. And yeah, it was kind of like a tree house on wheels. And then the kids in the not kids, some of the teenagers in the neighborhood, if they were into cars or stuff, would come by and say, hey, can I work on that van? If I get it running, can I have it? And my mom was always like, yeah, if you can get that thing running and you can get it moved, you can have that van. So it was kind of like a project van and a fort all rolled into one. We all would sit in there and play like driving. You know, it was actually a really, really, really great thing to have. It's like just a complete car as a toy. And I'm not sure if anybody ever got it running. I remember one of the boys worked on it in the driveway for like an entire summer. He was coming down working. He might have finally gotten part of it running. We would sit in there and shift gear. Oh, I miss the van. I miss playing in that van. It was just a great place to play. But yeah, I think one of the neighbor boys finally got it running, or I don't know. I'll have to ask my mom if it got towed or if the van ever ran. But that was a really fun memory of 4th of July for me. And then it was just years of playing in it. But all of us kids, I'm sure, like I said, it was probably a group of 13 of us running down to sneak some beer out of the keg that the parents had no idea, right? Then another 4th of July, I remember we had gone to, we were on the Tappahannock River, and we were spending a week up on Tappahannock, at the Tappahannock River, and it had a dock that went out, and we lit sparklers. We had put sparklers like every couple of feet, and we had my brother and his friend were lighting one end, and I was lighting the other, and we had another brother and his friend in the middle lighting the middle section so that we could get the whole entire dock sparkling with sparklers at the same time. I mean, that was a wild time. Usually we didn't. Yeah, and then that was kind of neat, and that was the same 4th of July that so let's see, I was in 5th grade, so it must have been just like the year after the van situation, 3 years after the van. Yeah, I would have been like 11 or so, 12, I don't know. But at that, on the river, so we're on the Tappahannock River, and my brother, who had spent summers with my aunt and uncle down in Bath on their boat, they had a huge sailboat that they would, that they sailed, and my brother had spent some summers with them, and he and his friend decided they were going to take the catamaran out, because this river house had a catamaran. And so they went out, but it was like this huge storm coming up, and they flipped the catamaran over, and they didn't know how to even they didn't know what they were doing. They're lucky they didn't drown. Somebody came back, and they actually wound up having to tow the catamaran, I think, upside down back to where we were, and then we all had to go out there and help them flip it back over, and that was wild. It was a wild time. And then yep. But we did in the summertime though, my mother always, no matter what, made a point of taking 1 week and packing us all up and taking us to the beach. And when we would go down, we used to go to Duck and Corolla, but it was before it was developed, so it was gated off. There's nothing there, and there were no roads, there was no grocery stores, no food, anything. And how it was being developed, you would have like 4 houses, and then a half a mile, then another 4 houses, and that's definitely not how it is now. And then you would, go on up and like up by the Currituck Lighthouse. There's a little town up there, but it was just desolate. There's nothing there, and she would load up all of us kids. So the range of ages in my brothers and sisters is 17 years, from the oldest to the youngest, 16 to 17 years. It's like, depending on how you're looking at the birthday. So my youngest sister, my brother was a senior in high school, or June. My youngest sister was born in December, and so she never remembers my oldest brother ever having lived at home, because he graduated high school the next year. And she knew her older brother was and all of that, but she just doesn't ever remember him having lived at home. So it was this great big huge span of ages, but it filled in. And my mother, bless her heart, also let us all take a friend. So each of us, my oldest brother, I would have somebody with me, my younger brother, and then, let's see, I'm trying to think of how many, 1, 2, 3, so yeah, anyway, so you had the original 10 kids plus an extra 5, and we're getting down there in 2 cars, and we had the old station wagon where you would had your kids in the way back and the seats popped up and would face each other. So we would load all around that, and then 4 kids would be back there, and then you would load the front seat, the middle seat with 4 children, and then 2 sat on the floor behind the seats. I'm telling you, it was wild. And then one, because back in the olden days, way back in the 1970s, so this would have been right at the cusp of the 80s, your front seat was just one long seat. So you would have mom and then 3 passengers in the front seat. Oh my goodness. And you would fight for your spot every year. Once or twice, I remember twice, I think, winding up on the floor of my car. But then by the end, when my older brother could drive, he would drive, and a couple of us would get in that car. But you also had to take all your food, all your linens, all your towels, all your clothes for this week. You couldn't, because there's nothing. It was literally just empty, just everything. You had to take everything you wanted to have with you. And oh my gosh, bless her heart, she did that every year. And I said, but Mom, I don't see how that could have been, big wind gust, hold on, how that could have been a vacation for you. I didn't get it, but it was something that she valued, taking family vacations, bonding. I bless her heart. I mean, we tried 1 or 2 things with my children, and we found early on my kids had 3 nights. Yeah, we actually 2 nights, 3 days. That was all that they could handle before they fell apart and just cried. So it never was worth. We could go somewhere, and we're saying 2 nights. We'll go spend the night, have a day there. Big wind gust. It is a cool wind, so it's beautiful. And then have to come on home the next day. That's all I could handle with my kids. But bless her heart, she would load us all up, and there we would go. And then, so I remember when I finally got my first car, and it was a Mazda, and it had, of course, it was standard, so I had learned how to, shift gears and all of that. But the back seats fell down, so your trunk and back seat, you could expand your trunk space. It was great, right? Well, in my car, I had some luggage going to the beach, but I had my youngest brother and his friend wanted to ride with me, but they wanted to ride in the trunk, so we folded the seats down so they could, like, in the kind of in the trunk part, and then we had some, I'm telling you, we left one seat down and they had a fort. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It was just those kind of trips where she just would load us all up. No wonder she's exhausted and her body's breaking down. Truthfully. Truthfully. I mean, I can't imagine what all she did. Oh. I think what's really interesting as well, I was at home week for last talking with my sister, the youngest of everybody, and she was talking about how hard she had empty nest syndrome when we all left, and how it was just her. And my sister, before, a little bit above her, has always said, you know, she had like had to work through issues, abandonment issues, because all of her siblings, that we cared for each other. I mean, Sarah was my baby. She was the one I took care of. She was the one I took everywhere. And 95% of the time, it was by choice. I loved babying, you know, and having my baby sister and run around. We were 16 years old, and you know, at that point you could get hotel rooms or whatever. And we would get in the car every summer, and she and I would go on an adventure together, go get hotel rooms at the beach and hang out, just she and I. And I mean, they don't even rent hotel rooms to 16-year-olds anymore. But I would have been almost 17, 18, 19, and you know, when I went to college, it was so hard because literally she was my sidekick. And so we had talked about that and the abandonment issues, but then the youngest was saying, you know, there were so many transitions that she went through in life being the youngest, because she was born into everything happening, and literally her first 5 or 6 years of life was spent riding in a car seat, because this person had practice, this person had practice, this person had practice. Now mind you, through all of this, my mom is a single mother. So I mean, there was a lot of those first 5 or 6 years she's just riding. My mother drove so much she had driving calluses from the steering wheel getting older kids to activities. Every one of us were required to play a sport and to have an activity. And so I mean, there was a lot of driving, because you know, when you do that, yeah. And then once we got our driver's license, she was so excited. My first job was grocery shopping. As soon as I got my driver's license, she handed me the grocery list, and that was my official job, so she could mark that off her list. And my oldest brother, as soon as he got his driver's license, he had to drive me and my sister to school, and it made him mad because we went to a school across town, an all-girls school, private school, and he went to school close by our house, so he had to get up over an hour earlier to drive us to school, and it made him mad. So every morning it was like the Indianapolis 500, Daytona 500, whatever. I mean, it was just craziness with how he would drive. I do remember the first place I ever drove getting my driver's license was I drove to Little Caesars, and this was when you would buy pizza, get one free. So we had Little Caesars a couple times, like every Friday. That was our big family treat. $5, and you got a pizza and you got one free. And we had this great big long navy blue station wagon. Like I said, it had the back seats that folded up and faced each other, and you know, it was just a long thing. And Sarah was in the car, and this was even pre car seats, you know, so Sarah was probably a year or two, but my mom always had car seats for us. She always strapped us in as best she could. But this was even before that car seat law was it. And So the first place I ever went was I left the house to go get Little Caesar pizza for our Friday. Sarah got to ride with me. And so I got there okay, but coming home, I had to go across 2 lanes to get to make a left-hand turn. I had to cross the oncoming traffic, and there was no stoplight, and it was a busy street, real busy. So I grew up in a city, so this was like busy, and I remember when I pulled out, I floored it. I did that turn, and I hit that thing. The whole rear end of that car is fishtail. Fishtail. Then I had to tell Sarah, "Don't you say anything, Sarah. Shh. This is our secret. This is just between us girls." I fishtailed, and I mean, there had to have been the black from where I spun those wheels, making that turn. It was pretty funny. It was pretty funny, but. Anyway, we are just doing a little short. No, we'll keep going. We'll keep going. So those are some of my summer memories. I remember the driving because my birthday's in August, the whole month. And summer wants to go in. Let me let her in. Go ahead. All right. Marley's under the furniture. Oh, wait. Oh, there he is. He's coming out. Do you want to come say hello? He says no. He ain't playing that game. So yeah, those are some of the funny summer things. I remember, I have we have beach stories and things like that. Oh, one time, so once again, we were at the beach. I was older. It was when I was in college, and I had my friend there. Everybody had their friend there. So it was a house of probably at this point 20 kids, because everybody had brought their friend. And I think it was my brother Brian's friend or my brother Mark's, one of my brother's friends. Mom had made, she would cook and cook and cook and cook, and she had cooked so much. So we were having tacos, and she probably had to cook 5 pounds of taco meats and dice, and we all kind of chipped in and helped, but the main person usually does the most. And when she got everything done and put away and ready to go to the table and eat, there was no food left. And one of those boys had the nerve to tell my mother, "You snooze, you lose," which now has become a favorite family saying. If you went back to get something to eat and somebody else is eating it, we always say, "Oh, you snooze, you lose." That's what happens. Ooh, bug. But it was a beetle, Japanese beetle. Yeah. Oh, the wind, perfect wind. I know it's loud, so I might as well not even say anything. In my flower beds in front, I'll take you down there in a minute. My gladiolas, my red gladiolas are coming up. I have it so that the bulbs are blooming. I went through the yellow daylilies, then they turned white. No, they went yellow, red, and now I have white, and my speckled ones are coming up now, my gladiolas, and next will be my irises. Should start to show. So that will be great. So those are just some of my summer memories, some of my 4th of July memories. Got them on tape now. I've got to find a picture of that van, though. That was crazy. Yep. Good times, just running free in the summer, Anyway, I am going to end this live here. It's getting late. I had a late start because of the phone issue, saying it was not connecting. But tomorrow, hopefully, we'll be able to do StreamYard. I'm going to get my computer. So that is so odd. Okay, that was weird. It just bumped me out. Like, I'm telling you, something's weird. Maybe it does need to go through a streaming service. So I would definitely give that a try. I used Restream on my other account, so maybe that's where I need to go to see if this stuff connects and streams better. I'll have to try something, right? And it's all a learning process. But I finally found out how to attach tags and products on my other channel, so I can go back and do that. So I'm really, it only took me 7 months to figure that one out, but I think I've got it figured out now, because on my other channel, my Fabulous Nuts ASMR, it's monetized, and I just haven't known how to do that part. So I'm very, 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 very proud of myself for learning that today. We will get the rest of these kinks knocked out. Like I said, it is just a delightful day. So I am going to say, have a fabulous rest of your day. We will see each other no, tomorrow's Friday, right? Yeah, well, we'll see each other Monday. Remember, Wednesday, we are going to do a Wednesday workout. Lunchtime Live is just going to be, so a Wednesday workout for my mom. So we will honor those that are more advanced in years than us, and have a good time. I know that if we keep moving, they keep moving, everybody keeps moving, we'll all keep that blood flowing and be happy. That I think that'll be fun. You know, give us something to do. We'll just sit in a chair and shake it up. I just get on that. So, everybody, eat a hot dog, eat a hamburger, get your piece of apple pie, some watermelon, some ice cream. Enjoy the holidays. If you are not in the U.S., just enjoy your weekend and your day anyway. It's a great day to celebrate because we're alive. Just stay fabulous. Until next time, see you later. Here comes the reach. Mwah. Okay, let's stop it.